So Daniella,
yes.
As somebody who is an entrepreneur, mjasiri wa mali, yeah? Lakini pia, I understand you're a co-founder at Daniel Labs, right? And this is a place where essentially startup founders get nurtured, get exposed to different kinds of opportunities, from learning, capacity building, mentoring, and funding, of course. Sindio? Kwa kile unachokijua na kwa vile unavyoviona, because you have a blessing where you can also learn through other people's mistakes as you're also mentoring them. What's the biggest challenge ambayo most founders face, especially during the first 3 to 5 years of their business?
Wow, okay, that's very interesting. One of the things I've seen, and I think I faced this once only myself. So you face the problem and then you come see it in get third dimension, I guess. We get married very much to the idea we have in our head of this company or whatever we're creating. Sema, kwa mfano, if I was very, very stuck in the crowdfunding, ingekufa pale pale. Tulipokwama. And not realizing this whole startup space is about also how quick you pivot, how quick una-identify ile pale, there's a challenge. Okay, quick, you move, you find a different way, a different route. And maybe that changes your business entirely from what you intended.
Sometimes, yeah.
And sometimes it changes just a little aspect of your business. But it's you being ready for that change. Second is, many startups I've seen, they want to maintain the entirety of their company. Wanavyoanza mpaka wanakofika.
Nataka kumiliki kila kitu. Or what do you mean?
The startup space, the investments you get, they're going to come in terms of debt and equity. By equity meaning you have to give up a part of your business.
Yeah.
This it's the nature of the game you're in.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of companies who are very reluctant and also that's the place where also investors prey on. So I understand why they're reluctant, but the minute you step into the space and you're a startup founder, you have to realize when you start, you're going to have 100% of your company, but when you finish, you might have 1% of your company, and that's okay. That's the game. No investor is going to come to your company and say, Mimi, I want 1% and give you $100,000. Hiyo haijawahi kutokea. They're going to want a chunk of your money. And depending on what stage your company, your startup, your fundraising is, kama unaanza, unajua kuna stages, kuna zile pre-seed, seed, series A, mpaka series D, E. Kila part of that stage, you're giving up a chunk of your company. But you have to go in this startup game knowing that this is going to happen. As much as people want to hold on to a lot of their company, then you that's why they complain there's no funding. Funding's simple. There's going to want some of your company, but not everyone is willing to understand that. And that is usually what I've seen, the biggest push and pull between startup founders and investors. Investors wanakuja wanakuambia, yes, I'm going to invest in, maybe I want a certain percent of your company. And a lot of companies, okay, let me backtrack. A lot of startup founders do not understand the value of their company. Let's just start there.
Okay.
Sijui my company sasa hivi hata ukija ukinipa investment, what is the valuation based on? Unataka kunipa shilingi $200,000, let's say, for 10% of my company. But 10%, you have to be able to calculate what that, at 100%, what is my value of my company.
Because at 210 is 2 million.
But startup founders wengi tunataka our companies to be valued higher. Tunataka sisi we are valued at $5 million. Nakati your company is maybe at $500,000. Sasa tunafikaje, how do you quantify your value ili umpe yule founder a chunk of your money, of your company, ili kufika in that stage? We struggle a lot there. So you find a lot of investors. We've seen a lot of investors wanakuja wanasema Tanzanian companies ticket size zao ni ndogo sana. Because wao wameshaangalia valuation ya kampuni yako wamesema valuation yako labda ni $500,000. Wao unasema ni $2 million, sawa? Wao wanakuambia $500,000. For them to come in Tanzania and invest in you kwenye $500,000, that's the value of a company. So if they want 10%, they're talking about $50,000. That's a small ticket cost ya wao kuileta hela in the country and hata kuitoa baada ya kuinvest. It does not make sense for them. There's a lot of miscommunication between what a lot of companies believe startups investors are looking for and what investors are actually looking for. That communication bado is still very challenging. Starting with valuation, going to the equity, giving out your equity into a company, even as far as the roadmap to making your... So investor akija kwenye kampuni yako, yes, atataka a chunk of your company, but they're also going to want to help control your company. They're going to want some sort of control in your kweli. A lot of...
We don't want money. I
think unaelewa ni kama unaenda kuinvest kwenye kiosk pale, unataka ukielewe kiosk nafanyaje, nataka kuona black book yako, unatengenezaje hela, unakopesha wangapi, you know? But in the startup space, we kind of want tuache tufanya biashara the way we want it to be, tunataka wenyewe, utuamini tu, tutaleta hela. No investor is going to give you money for that. They're going to want to have some sort of control. They want to be able to trust that you can do what you say you're going to do, and you have to do what you say you're going to do. So baadaye unabadilika, unasema, unajua nilikuwa nataka kufanya vile, lakini I thought this business makes sense. That's not what you plan to do. He's already risked this much money in you. So there's a lot of miscommunication between these two entities. And it becomes harder for investors to really come into the market and really support a lot of startups. I've seen that from the funds that we've helped create, because they're trying to look for a certain kind of companies. Those companies need 1, 2, 3. Tanzanians, we don't build companies looking at investor who's coming to invest. We're just building companies for building companies, because we want to create employment, we want to sustain ourselves. Tunatengeneza biashara kwa ili tujiendeleze. But an investor is coming to a company for a strategic reason. So there's a huge gap pale. And you hear a lot of investors wanakwambia, there are no credible startups in Tanzania. And you're like, they're everywhere. But it's not the companies that meets the criteria you'll invest and you look for. So I'm always straddling the two because I'm on both sides. So you're telling the startups, I know you're creating a business and it's making sense, but if you want to attract this capital,
you have to think about
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They need this. And who you start company investor pia unamwambia, yes, if this is what the companies in Tanzania are at. If you want to invest, this is what you have to help support to build. But it's just that communication sometimes I don't say it's missing. It's just we're bypassing each other. But wapo, there's actual companies who are really doing great things. So it's just startups to develop, tujiongeze kidogo, tufike to the caliber where we can actually be attractive. When your money goes where money is loved and respected and grows.
Yes.
Money is like, if you treat money like a human being, money goes where it's loved, it's respected, there's loyalty. So if you leo na idea moja kisha unabadilika, that's no loyalty. If you're not building, you're not growing. So if you treat money like that, I think maybe, well, hopefully there will be more support coming. I'd like to think so.
It's a good thing to think.
I think I'll create a conducive environment for money to be comfortable
around you.
I hope so.